Grace and peace to you. Welcome to Morning Watch. I'm Rob, one of the pastors here at White Plains. Glad to have you with us today on a Friday. Almost to the weekend. Today is yard sale prep day. All right, we're accepting donations at the church all day today. If you have anything you want to drop off for the yard sale, bring it by. Good morning, Kenna. Good morning, Florida. Good morning to you whenever you're watching. Thanks for being here. Thanks for tuning in and sharing and liking and all of that good stuff. This is where we gather for a song and a thought for the day. I'm glad you are here with us. Good morning, Terry. All right, let's begin our time together by going to God in prayer. I watched this morning for the light that the darkness has not overcome. And I watched for the fire that was in the beginning that burns still in the brilliance of the rising sun. I watch for the glow of life that gleams in the growing earth and glistens in sea and sky. I watch for your light, O God, in the eyes of every living creature and in the ever-living flame of my own soul. If the grace of seeing were mine this day, I would glimpse you in all that lives. Grant me the grace of seeing this day. Grant me the grace of seeing. Amen and amen. Well, I don't know how many times I've sung these two songs back to back that are on the same page in our big blue songbook. But it's been more than a couple. But they just work so well together. And this one ties in to work well together. By that I mean you can play them with the same arrangement, same key, all that. And it ties into today's reading. So here is Shine. Show me where to look, tell me what will I find? Will I find? Lay me on the ground, fly me on the sky. Show me where to look, tell me what will I find? Will I find? Oh, let your light shine down. Shine down. Oh, let your light shine down. Oh, let your light shine down. Love is in the water, love is in the air. Show me where to go, tell me will love be there? To speak, teach me how to share, teach me where to go and tell me will I be there, will I be there? Oh, heaven let your light shine down. Oh, heaven let your light shine down. Oh, heaven let your light shine down. Let your light shine. There you go. Yeah. Morning, Dr. Lee. Morning, Terry. Morning, Faye. Morning, Vernon. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here. All right. So today's little essay out of our book, This I Believe, is called My Father's Evening Star. All right. It works with shine. It's by William O. Douglas. And this is, again, one of the originals from the 1950s from the series on NPR that was written, hosted by Edward R. Murrow. So you can probably find an archive recording of this online. He writes, during moments of sadness or frustration, I often think of a family scene years ago in the town of Yakima, Washington. I was about 7 or 8 years old at the time, and Father had died a few years earlier. Mother was sitting in the living room talking to me, telling me what a wonderful man Father was. She told me of his last illness and death. She told me of his departure from Cleveland, Washington to Portland, Oregon, for what proved to be a fatal operation. His last words to her were these: if I die, it will be glory. If I live, it will be grace. If I die, it will be glory. If I live, it will be grace. I remember how these words puzzled me. I could not understand why it would be glory to die. It would be glory to live, that I could understand. But why would it be glory to die? It was something I did not understand until later. Then one day, in a moment of great crisis, I came to understand the words of my father, if I die, it will be glory. If I live, it will be grace. That was his evening star. The faith in a power greater than humanity. That was the faith of our fathers. A belief in God, a belief in a God who controlled humanity in the universe, that manifested itself in a different way, in different ways to different people. It was written by scholars and learned men in dozens of different creeds. But riding high above all secular controversies was a faith in one who was the Creator, the giver of life, the omnipotent. Man's age-long effort has been to be free. Throughout time, we have struggled against some form of tyranny that would enslave the mind or the body. So far in this century, 3 epidemics of it have been let loose in the world. We can keep our freedom through the increasing crisis of history only if we are self-reliant enough to be free. Dollars, guns, and all the wondrous products of science and the machine will not be enough. This night, thy soul shall be required of thee. And bear in mind as I read this next part that this was not written this year. This was written 70 years ago. He writes, these days I see graft and corruption reach high into government. These days I see people afraid to speak their minds because someone will think they are unorthodox and therefore disloyal. These days I see America identified more and more with material things and less with spiritual standards. I see us drifting from the Christian faith, acting abroad as arrogant, selfish, greedy nation, interested only in guns and dollars, not in people and their hopes and aspirations. These days, the words of my father come back to me more and more. We need his faith, the faith of our fathers. We need a faith that dedicates us to something bigger and more important than ourselves or our possessions. Only if we have that faith will we be able to guide the destiny of nations in this most important, critical period of world history. This I believe. Yeah. Notice he's not talking about the Christian faith guiding a nation in terms of imperialism or manifest destiny, like you would associate with Christian nationalism. No, he's talking about guiding to be concerned with the welfare of all the world, of all humanity, rather than the sovereignty of an individual nation. Seems pretty timely. Written in the 50s. William O. Douglas, of course, if you don't remember him, I had to look him up, I must admit. My history was not as complete. He was an Associate Justice of the U.S. Supreme Court from 1939 to 1975. And as a boy, he hiked the Cascade Mountains near his home in Washington to strengthen his legs, which were weakened by polio. His opinions were characterized by a fierce commitment to individual rights and a distrust of government power. Yeah, great essay. Well, thanks, y'all. Yeah, amen indeed, Florida. Thanks for being here. I hope you have a great weekend. If you got something you want to get rid of out of the garage, drop it by the yard sale today at the church. And then, of course, tomorrow, come back and buy it or buy somebody else's stuff. That's the way it works. May you find peace and purpose in this day. I will look forward to seeing you next week on Tuesday, and I'll see you in worship on Sunday for Church on the Street. You can wear your t-shirts, wear your Church on the Street t-shirts Sunday if you want. We'll be talking about the Great Commission, going into all the world, making disciples. All right.